Today, we have all gathered here to celebrate the evolution of the English language during our much awaited Lithosphere finale for the year 2023-2024. What is a language? What would we do without a common language? Is it even possible to not have a common language? Humans are social animals who thrive in communication and building societies, building families. And one such family is ours. The ones who have accepted the English language as our secondary source of communication. But how did it come about? Did it always exist? If yes, who do we give the credit of being its pioneers? A food for thought, isn't it? But why you think, we will help you visualize. The students of grades 4 to 10 have put together a wonderful skit to show the progression and development of the English language. Where did it begin? How did it evolve? The places that it traveled to and the people that traveled with it. So, without any further ado, I present to you the Chronicles of English.
Where are we? Why do these things look so unfamiliar? Feels like we've traveled back in time. Oh my God, have we? Are we really in the past?
Meet Dr. Montgomery, a history professor, and Mr. Brown, a linguist, who throughout their lives wish nothing for but to visit different kingdoms and civilizations to understand their cultures and languages. Looks like their prayers have been answered today.
This is a time of the Celts who lived in the Eastern European region during the 13th and the 14th centuries. They were people who belonged to modern-day Ireland, Wales, Britain, France, Iberia, and many neighboring countries. They shared one religion and language. They were fierce warriors who feared no one. They were the Celts. Hey, what are you saying? I can't understand you. Oh, wait. I remember reading about them. No internet? What is this, the Stone Age?
Something that never fails you. Books. Century. We really did travel back in time. Hey, is it really the 14th century?
The Celts had different dialects but had their roots predominantly in the Welsh language. They were spoken throughout Europe and Anatolia or modern-day Turkey. Many of these dialects are considered as dead languages now. However, efforts are being made to revive one of them, the Cornish dialect. These languages form the basics for the English that we know today. English? English? They say they speak English, but I speak English. How is my English so different from their English?
The Celtic language went through major assimilation with each invasion, and contrary to popular belief, the British were invaded multiple times before they became the invaders. They faced multiple armies, experienced multiple cultures, and absorbed multiple elements. The British that we know today is an amalgamation of all of that.
Out of the many, 4 invasions heavily altered how they speak today. The first of it being with the Romans.
This is astounding. The Romans ruled for 200 years. But wait, didn't they speak Latin?
Greek, Latin, English, Celtic, English.
Of course. If you had waited for 200 years, you were bound to see the influence in their language. You will pick up words and phrases from each other and form their own pidgin.
Now what is pidgin?
Pidgin is when two people do not have a common language, but do form a common language through interaction, picking up bits and pieces from each other.
Interesting. Oh, is that what is happening there? The letters and the numerals. The Romans got them? Oh, phenomenal. Many Latin root words are the foundation for many English words. The English alphabets are also based on the Latin alphabets. Most of the judicial vocabulary is also taken from Latin.
Latin was considered to be the language of higher and advanced civilization, the Romans, as opposed to the Celtic language, which was considered to belong to a lower civilization. The Celts hurried to adapt the Roman ways of living, their city planning, architecture, and their language.
Yes, that is how it is. Because of the invasion, they now live together and exchange their language and culture. So this is how it all began. This is how it began. How interesting. Look at their outfits, so distinct from one another.
Professor, what is happening?
What do you mean?
Don't look now, but there is someone hiding behind these bushes. Yikes! They have weapons too.
Hey, you! Who are you? Swords? Hey guys, look out! They're attacking! I think it's another invasion. Get up!
The greatest influence of Latin on Old English took place after the conversion of Anglo-Saxon kingdoms to Christianity. Religious and military personnel learned the Latin terms first for professional use, but slowly it became a part of their everyday vocabulary.
These invaders also brought innovations in the field of medicine and science, thus elevating the fused language into a preferred language of the academicians and people belonging to the elite class.
What's happening? Are we going to die? I don't want to die in the past.
It is another invasion. It is the era of the Vikings now.
Vikings? Should we not take shelter too? I have read they were fierce and cruel.
That they were. Come on, let's go.
Something is different. They aren't carrying and exchanging words. No, they are carrying symbols.
Yes, the Vikings brought their beliefs of myths and legends with them. Come on, let's check them out. Sun,
The word Sunday comes from the word sun.
moon,
The word Saturday comes from the name of their god Saturn.
Thor's hammer,
The word Thursday comes from the mythical belief of the Norse god Thor. The Vikings were from the area now known as Scandinavia. While they shared cultural similarities with the Anglo-Saxons, they brought their own language. Another impact on the developing English language. The language the Vikings spoke was called Old Nordic, or directly translated into English Old Nordic, or as it is mostly referred to, Old Norse.
They were curious societies, which is also why they love to travel and trade so much with people in faraway lands. And because of their curiosity, they were open and friendly with the locals.
Because of this, it eventually led to intermarriage and assimilation between the two cultures, which created a big melting pot of the two languages.
Hey, who are you? Did you come from the forest? Forest? What's a forest? Oh, you mean the woods.
French influenced the English too?
Hello. Did you notice that they were speaking about the same things, but they used different terms for it?
Oh yeah, woods and forests, cow and beef. These words are called double words, where the French use a more sophisticated way to address specific things. The pronunciation and spelling of the English words changed to a great extent due to the French influence. The words coming in from the French language are usually words that are more accessible to the higher sections of the society, since the French were mostly noblemen.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May.
And summer leaf hath all too short a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines.
By chance or nature's changing course untrimmed, but thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession by the fair thou oust.
Nor shall death's dark thou warmest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou blowest. So long as man can breathe, all eyes can see, so long lives this gives life to thee.
What in the world is happening? From laws to poetry, I am so lost.
Hey, I know what that is. You recite the sonnets by William Shakespeare.
Shakespeare's writing standardized the English language and grammar with its rules and regulations in the 17th and 18th century. The spellings and idioms were accepted as the norm in the language. His transition of verbs into compound words, adjectives and adverbs became the new vocabulary.
For example, in the 1400s, the word alone was shortened to lone. From this word, he created the word lonely, which he used in the early 17th century tragedy play. Did you know the words and phrases that he wrote were compiled in a dictionary of the English language by Samuel Johnson?
It's been centuries since we are being invaded by successive kingdoms. I am done with it now. Let's turn the tables around.
Let's go and invade other countries now.
How do we do that? Where do we go?
We are one nation now, the Great Britain. Let's conquer the world.
Oh yes, but let's start with India.
It's gonna be the brightest jewel of our crown.
No!
The British started invading countries that were rich in resources, both natural and man-made. They didn't just invade, they colonized these countries, they settled among the locals and established their rule over the majority. They hijacked the rights and exploited the resources. One such unfortunate country was India.
India was one of the richest countries in the world before the colonization. The British exported spices and textiles from India, using cheap labor in their factories. They established supremacy over local customs, religions, and language. The local Indians were reduced to second-class citizens in their own country. As a result, English was considered as language of the elite, and the locals wanted to adapt it as much as possible into their life to earn back the respect they once had.
Settling within the Indians meant another vocabulary build-up. A lot of the words in the English language are also taken from the root words of multiple Indian languages.
Where are they? They said they would invade India. Are we too late?
Hey you, what's that in your hands? Bangiri? Bangles sound better.
Hey, what are you doing? Shampoo. Shampoo? Ew, we should call it shampoo. Yuck, this place smells weird. What area is this? Dongari. Dongari? Oh, you make that in Dongari. We should call it Dongari.
You, what are you wearing? Bandana? Bandana sounds better.
Give it all to us and walk away. Get up, get up, get up.
Now the complexity of the English language makes sense. Why are there more rules, exceptions than rules?
It's a soup.
So now, dear friends, you know why English is such a complicated language. So now, dear friends, you know why English is such a complicated language. It does not have origins in one language. It is a mix and a blend of multiple languages and their dialects.
Apart from having different root languages, it also took a lot of vocabulary and rules from the different colonies that were a part of their empire.
English is English because of its richness, which is sometimes the best thing about it. But for poor students like us, it proves to be a nightmare. And that, my friends, is how English came about. I hope with us, you were able to decode the past and understand the present. Thank you.